At dinner, she mocked me. "You have no right to stop me from going out with my ex. We're not married." I simply replied, "Whatever you want." That night, I sent a package directly to her ex's house. The recipient was his wife. The next morning, she came running to my door, ringing the bell frantically, her face full of panic. At dinner, she looked right at me and said, "Don't forget you were never my husband. You have no right to stop me from going out with Adam." I didn't say anything for a few seconds. Then I said, "You're right. I don't, but I think someone does," she frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing," I said. "Forget it." She shrugged, went back to her food and acted like nothing happened. That's what she always did. Say something cruel, then pretend it was no big deal. But this time was different, because a few days before that dinner, I'd received a message from someone named Chloe. She claimed to be my girlfriend's close friend. The first line of the message said, "I'm sorry, but I can't let her keep doing this to you." Attached were photos. My girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend Adam, at a cafe, in a bar, walking side by side, hand in hand. Different days, different outfits. Not some random coincidence. Chloe didn't say much else. Just that she couldn't stand watching her friend lie to me anymore. I didn't know who she really was. Maybe a co-worker, maybe someone from their friend group. But I didn't care. The photos told me everything I needed to know. So while my girlfriend sat there across the table, smiling like nothing was wrong, I already knew, and I already had a plan. My girlfriend and I had been dating for about a year and a half. We didn't live together, mostly because she said she needed space. At the time, I didn't mind. I work long hours as a software engineer, so having my own place gave me some quiet. Still, things had started to feel off lately. She used to text me every morning, every night. Lately, it was just random one-liners. "Busy today," or "Can we rain check?" No emojis, no warmth. When we did see each other, her phone was always face down. And she laughed at texts that she never explained. I'm not proud to admit it, but I started scrolling through her tagged photos on social media, not to stalk her, just to make sure I wasn't crazy. That's when I noticed Adam showing up again. Adam, her ex. The guy she told me was ancient history. They had dated for 3 years in college and broke up because he couldn't grow up. At least, that's what she told me. Then out of nowhere, he was back, liking her posts, commenting things like, "Still the prettiest girl in the city," and she never deleted them. When I asked about it once, she rolled her eyes. "God, you're being paranoid. He's just a friend now." I didn't push it. I told myself to trust her. And then, one afternoon, I got the message. The sender's name was Chloe. Her profile photo was just a flower, nothing that gave away who she really was. The message started politely, almost awkwardly. "Hey, you don't know me. I'm a friend of girlfriend's name. You seem like a decent guy and you deserve to know." What followed were 5 photos and 2 screenshots. In the photos, my girlfriend and Adam sitting at a cafe, holding hands across the table. Another one of them hugging outside a bar. In the screenshots, her messages to her friend group about the beach trip this weekend, with Adam's name clearly mentioned. I stared at them for a long time. I didn't respond to Chloe. I didn't ask who she was or why she sent it. Maybe she felt guilty. Maybe she was jealous. Didn't matter. What mattered was that my girlfriend had been lying to me for weeks. That night when we texted, I acted normal. I didn't confront her. I wanted to see what she'd do next. Sure enough, the next day she called me all excited. "Babe, guess what? I'm going to the beach this weekend. Just with some friends. You don't mind, right?" "Who's going?" I asked, keeping my tone light. "Just the usual group," she said, listing a few names I barely recognized. Then, casually, "Oh, and Adam might come too, but it's totally chill. He's seeing someone anyway." I said nothing for a few seconds. Then I laughed. "Right, totally chill." That's when she got defensive. "Don't start, okay? I'm allowed to have friends." "You're not my husband." That line stayed in my head. "You're not my husband." It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Cold, dismissive, like she wanted to remind me I had no authority, no place to question her. So I played along. I said, "Fine, you're right." And I waited for our next dinner together, the one that started everything. By that point, I already had the files saved. I had printed them out. Every photo, every chat log, every piece of evidence Chloe had sent. Not because I planned to confront her. I was done arguing. but because I realized something. She could play her games, but Adam had a wife, and if anyone had the right to stop her from going out with Adam, it wasn't me. It was the woman he'd promised loyalty to. So while she was sitting across from me that night, telling me I had no right, I was already thinking about how to make sure the person who did have that right knew exactly what was going on. After dinner, I drove her back to her apartment. She kissed me goodnight like everything was fine. And for the first time in months, I didn't kiss her back. When I got home, I opened my laptop and went through Chloe's folder again. Every photo, every message. I renamed the files, arranged them by date, printed them one by one. No edits, no captions, just raw truth. The first few pages showed her and Adam at the cafe, his hand on hers, her smiling like she used to smile at me. Then the bar photo, the one where she was leaning into him. The final set was the group chat screenshots. In one of them she wrote, "He still thinks I'm going with the girls, LMAO." I stared at that line for a long time. That was the moment it stopped being heartbreak and started being strategy. I didn't want to yell. I didn't want revenge just for the sake of it. I wanted something clean, precise, something that would cut exactly where it should, not a scene, not drama, just exposure. So I looked up Adam's last name. It didn't take long. He'd tagged his wife in a few public photos from last year, their anniversary, a vacation post with the caption, "My favorite person." Her name was Emily. I sat there staring at her profile picture, a woman who probably had no idea her husband was planning a beach trip with his ex. She looked normal, kind even, and for a second I hesitated. Was I really about to blow up someone else's life? Then I remembered that text from my girlfriend. "You're not my husband." Right. But someone was. So I opened a new email account, anonymous, nothing traceable, and wrote a short message. "Hi, Emily. I'm sorry for reaching out like this, but I think you deserve to know. Your husband, Adam, has been seeing girlfriend's name behind your back. I've attached photos and screenshots from the past month. Take your own judgment, but please look at the dates." I attached the folder, hit send, and sat back. No shaking hands, no adrenaline rush. Just a quiet kind of peace. Then, for good measure, I printed a second copy of everything, sealed it in a plain brown envelope, and shipped it overnight to their address. Recipient Emily Carter, that was all. The next day, my girlfriend texted me like nothing happened. "Good morning." "I'll be busy packing today," I replied. "Have fun." She sent a laughing emoji. "Don't be grumpy. It's just a short trip. You trust me, right?" I typed, "Of course, totally," then muted her notifications. All day I went about my routine, worked, cooked dinner, watched some mindless YouTube videos. Every so often I'd glance at my phone, half expecting something, but nothing came. Around 10 p.m. she texted again. "Leaving early tomorrow." "Don't stay up too late," I almost laughed. If only she knew. At that exact moment, the package was probably sitting on Emily's doorstep. And if Emily opened it before bed, there was no beach trip happening anymore. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was anxious, I was just curious. I wondered how people like my girlfriend and Adam justified what they did. Did they convince themselves no one would find out? Or did they just not care until someone forced them to face it? By morning, I had my answer. At 6:43 a.m., my phone started ringing nonstop. Calls, messages, missed FaceTimes, all from her. I didn't pick up. Then came the first text. "What did you do?" I didn't reply. She knows. His wife knows. She showed up at his office screaming in front of everyone. "What the hell did you send her? Why?" I put my phone down and made coffee. A few minutes later, another message came through. "You ruined everything." "I can't believe you'd stoop this low. I thought you loved me." That one made me laugh a little, because if she had ever actually loved me, we wouldn't be here. By the time I finished my coffee, she had sent 17 missed calls and 12 texts. All caps, pure chaos. Around 8 a.m., there was a loud, frantic knocking on my door. Then the doorbell. Over and over, I already knew who it was. By 8 a.m., I had already heard the first frantic banging on my door. The doorbell kept ringing like she was trying to break it down. I didn't even need to check. The notifications on my phone told me everything. Her name flashing, all caps texts still coming in, missed calls stacking up. She was panicking. I could hear it in her voice when she yelled through the intercom. "Open the door. Now, you can't just do this to me." I took a slow sip of coffee, put it down and walked over. When I opened the door, she was standing there, hair a mess, face pale and red, eyes wide like she couldn't even process what had happened. She was shaking, her hands gripping the doorframe like she needed support. "Anne, what the hell did you do?" she screamed. Her voice cracked. Adam's wife showed up. She screamed in his office. "Everyone knows. Everything is ruined. Why?" I just looked at her, calm, flat, no yelling back. "No excuses. I told you," I said slowly. "Someone had the right to stop you from going. Not me, the person who actually has the right." "Adam's wife," she blinked. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. You, Chloe?" I shook my head. "No, I don't know who sent it." "Doesn't matter. Someone did. And now she knows everything." Her knees went weak and she sank onto the step outside my door. You did this to me," she whispered, almost crying. I knelt down slightly so I could look her in the eye. "No," I said. "You did this to yourself. You lied, you held his hand, you hugged him, you made yourself believe it was okay. I didn't send the pictures to her. I just made sure they got there." She covered her face with her hands. The raw panic, the humiliations, it was all there. She kept murmuring, "I can't." "Everyone knows." I let her stew, because there was nothing else to say. I could have screamed, could have made a scene, could have yelled at her like she deserved. But the truth is, that morning, the chaos, the fear, the collapse of her little plan, that was the punishment. I didn't have to do anything else. She looked up at me one last time. You're insane," she said, voice shaking. I shrugged. "I'm not insane. I'm just done letting you lie." She tried to argue, tried to justify herself, but I didn't respond. I just stepped back and closed the door. I could hear her sobbing outside, hitting the doorframe lightly. I didn't open it again. I didn't answer her texts. I didn't need to. Everything she had worked to hide was exposed. Everything she had hoped to get away with, ruined. And the best part? I wasn't the one doing the punishing. Adam's wife, the person who actually had the right to stop her, had done it. And she had no idea it came from me or anyone else. I poured myself another cup of coffee, sat down at my table and just let it sink in. No shouting. No arguing. No chasing after her. The door remained closed. She remained outside. And I realized something in that quiet morning. I had been planning revenge in my mind for weeks. But in the end, I didn't need to lift a finger. I didn't need to call anyone. I didn't need to show up at the office. All I did was make sure the truth reached the right person. And that was enough. When she finally stopped screaming, she sat there, still trembling. I could see the panic in her eyes, the shame she had tried to avoid for so long. And for the first time I felt at peace, because the person who deserved to be hurt, not me, not anyone else, had been the one to deliver the consequences. I made one last note in my head, almost to myself. I told you. Someone had the right to stop you. Not me, but her, and Chloe. Whoever you are, thanks for the heads up. I closed my laptop, sipped my coffee, and finally, after months of tension, finally felt free. The door stayed closed. Her sobs faded. And for the first time in months, I didn't have to think about what she was doing or who she was with. I was done.